Hello, my name is Andrea Catherine Rootloff, and the article I decided to use for this project is called 8 Major Reasons to Avoid Wheat by Jeremy Hendon. This article was published on May 9th, 2019. What initially attracted me to this article was its title, 8 Major Reasons to Avoid Wheat. From just doing some research on the internet, I noticed that there are a lot of articles that specifically talk about gluten, but there are a lot fewer articles that address wheat in particular. The author of this article seems to demonize wheat and does not back his arguments with any scientific research. After reading the article, the general public, who might not be very well educated on nutritional subjects, will likely be inclined to cut wheat out of their diet because they believe it will benefit their health. The author Jeremy Hendon's approach with this article seems to be that he's trying to scare the reader away from eating wheat by only listing negative and scary effects that he believes wheat has on the human health. Hendon created an article that is quick and easy to read and has a more populistic than scientific vibe, since none of his arguments are backed up by scientific research. Hendon is an advocate for the paleo diet, and he actually makes his money by promoting this, which is one reason why he advises against consuming grains in general. The article does not provide any scientific research or any indication of the author's sources that he based his article upon. Hendon lists 8 different reasons why wheat is bad for you and very sparingly explains each point. The main point of this article is that wheat is bad for human health, no matter what, and that everyone should stop eating it. He lists 8 different reasons for why wheat is damaging to everyone's health. The key features of Hendon's article are: wheat is not nutritious, you don't need fiber, wheat is loaded with phytates, wheat is all genetically modified, and therefore he implies that all genetically modified crops are inherently bad. Wheat is awful for your blood sugar. Wheat causes stomach and digestive issues. Gluten is bad for everyone. And wheat reduces your body's ability to absorb nutrients. This article is not geared toward a specific group, but rather makes very general statements that really could apply to anyone. Young people, easily impressionable people, and people who lack basic understanding of nutrition might be attracted to this article and not question any of its information. People who are searching for a healthier diet or people who struggle with a certain health issue might be attracted to this information. When starting my research process for this project, I first did a general Google search to see what other articles are out there in the popular media that write about the same topic. The media seems to be split in its opinion about the health benefit and risk of wheat. It appears that many media outlets simply post personal opinions without any backup from credible sources. When I was searching for peer-reviewed articles, there seemed to be much more consensus in regards to whether or not wheat is bad, and mainly concluded that wheat is beneficial for human health. I searched articles through the ASU library and directly on PubMed. There were many different articles about this topic, and I actually had a hard time deciding which ones to choose. The author Jeremy Hendon is a former lawyer and has run several successful businesses in the past before becoming passionate about nutrition. He said about himself that he has always been overweight, even as a child, And around age 18, he started to really get into nutrition. He's a big advocate for the paleo diet and has published several articles, books, and even a magazine about this eating style. He has no formal education in nutrition, but claims to be very knowledgeable. He actually claimed on his website that he has spent over a decade researching nutrition and claims to be all about science. There are several ethical issues that come to mind when considering the effect of this article. Making any unsubstantiated statements in order to convince other people to change is an ethical issue. Statements that are not backed up by scientific research can pose unintended risks. Considering that Hendon has no background in nutrition, claiming to be an expert in nutrition simply because he feels that what he is doing is working well for him is slightly unethical. People often tend to blindly follow people's advice simply because they appear to be knowledgeable in a particular area. Hendon claims to be all about science, which some people actually find very attractive, and they believe that this person has done a lot of scientific research in this regard. It appears that Hendon wants to promote the paleo diet and his business, which is based upon this diet. He has published several books about the paleo diet and created a website and a magazine for it. So anybody that becomes more interested in the paleo diet will likely benefit his business. The first research study I decided to use is called The Contribution of Wheat to Human Diet and Health. This article focuses on the nutritional value of wheat, lists and explains all nutrients, and relates them to specific health outcomes. According to this article, the main nutrients in wheat are protein, fiber, B vitamins, and phytochemicals, which are all known to be beneficial for human health. Wheat, globally, is a very important source of energy, carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, and vitamins. However, the nutritional value of wheat depends on the type of crop, so not all types of wheat are created equal. Hendon's argument of wheat not being nutritious cannot be justified unless a wheat product has been highly refined, such as in white flour, without having nutrients added back to it. This, however, is quite rare since fortification of highly refined flour is actually required by law for most products. The second research study I decided to use is called Health Benefits of Dietary Fiber. This article thoroughly lays out the immense health benefits that fiber has on human health, specifically fiber from whole grain sources such as whole wheat. Fiber helps with gastrointestinal issues by promoting regularity and acting as a prebiotic. Fiber helps prevent diabetes by enhancing insulin sensitivity. It also aids in weight management by increasing satiety. Wheat also lowers cholesterol level by increasing fecal excretion of cholesterol. Wheat also aids in immune function by acting as a prebiotic and helping to balance the gut flora. It also lowers risk of heart disease by lowering LDL and blood pressure. Hendon's argument of people not needing fiber and fiber being unimportant because the human body cannot digest it is very short-sighted and, in my opinion, completely false. As shown in this research study, fiber not only is important for feeling full for a longer time, but it also has a direct effect on some of today's most prevalent health problems such as obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Hendon's claim of wheat causing digestive issues is likely false as the high fiber content in whole wheat products is actually proven to aid in digestive health. The content of this research study also applies to Hendon's statement about wheat causing a spike in blood sugar like never before, causing issues for everyone, but especially for diabetics. This study examined the influence of whole grain food products on people's glycemic index and insulin sensitivity, and found that the fiber in these foods have positive influences on both. Hendon's statement is too generalized and only has any validity at all when talking about highly refined, low-fiber wheat products. The third research study I used is titled Reduction of Phytic Acid and Enhancement of Bioavailable Micronutrients in Food Grains. This article talks about phytic acid contained in grain products and its effects on nutritional value of grains. Phytic acid binds to minerals, primarily to zinc, iron, magnesium, and manganese, and inhibit their absorption by the human body. There are several different processes that can reduce the phytic acid content in grains, such as soaking the grain, fermenting or germination, or even genetic modification of the grain. Hendon's argument that phytate inhibits the absorption of any possible vitamins and minerals is partially true. While it is true that phytate binds to minerals and inhibits their absorption, it is not true that phytate binds to vitamins, therefore it has no effect on vitamins. As described in the study, there are several processes such as fermentation, germination, and soaking of the grain that can decrease the phytate content and increase mineral absorption. Therefore, how much phytate inhibits mineral absorption depends on how the grain has been processed and cannot be generalized. The fourth research study I used is called Genetically Modified Foods, Safety, Risks, and Public Concerns, a Review. This review of genetically modified foods addresses several possible risks as well as benefits of genetically modified crops. One concern is that the introduction of different proteins into a commonly used plant may pose allergenic risk to people. Another concern is that there are no true studies showing whether or not genetically modified crops pose any risk to human health in the long run. A benefit of genetically modified crops is that the nutrient content can actually be increased, and the resistance to common pests can also be increased. The information provided in this research study partially agrees with Hendon's argument that all wheat is genetically modified and inherently bad for humans. The study points out that there may be some risks to human health, mainly in regards to the introduction of foreign proteins. The study does not, however, provide any proof that genetically modified crops are bad for human health. Hendon's statement is too generalized, and there is not yet any definitive proof of genetically modified foods having adverse effects on human health. The fifth research study I used is called Effects of a Gluten-Free Diet on Gut Microbiota and Immune Function in Healthy Adult Humans. This study conducted a 4-week trial with 10 subjects to examine the influence of a gluten-free diet on the gut microbiome. The study concluded that a gluten-free diet actually decreases the amount of good bacteria and increases the amount of bad bacteria in the gut. This shift in bacteria and the microbiome negatively affects immune function, as more than 80% of our immune system is actually located in our gut. Following a gluten-free diet when not suffering from celiac disease can have negative health implications. Hendon's claim that everyone should stay away from gluten is likely false. A gluten-free diet is obviously required for people with celiac disease, but for everyone else it can cause more harm than good by changing the gut microbiome and decreasing immune function. Hendon's claim of wheat causing digestive issues for everyone is also likely false, as the positive effect of grains on the microbiome aids in healthy digestive systems. The final research study I used for this project is called Health Effects of Wheat Lectins. This research review examined the role of lectins in human health. The review concluded that lectins, as consumed in everyday foods, do not pose any harm to human health. Many foods containing lectin have been exposed to heat, such as by baking or cooking, which actually reduces the active form of lectin. There's some research indicating that lectin can have a negative impact on cell walls in some people, but research as of right now is very limited. At this point, it is believed that the health benefits of consuming lectin-containing foods, such as whole grain wheat, by far outweigh any possible adverse effects of lectin. Hendon's claim that wheat is bad due to its lectin or wheat germ agglutinin content that supposedly inhibits nutrient absorption and damages the intestinal walls, according to him, is likely false. There is not much research about this topic yet, but at this point there is no research really backing up Hendon's claims. There are some indications that lectin could have a negative effect on cell walls, but the processing of many of the commonly consumed lectin products, such as whole grain foods, decrease lectin's action. After evaluating Hendon's article and all 6 research studies, I come to the conclusion that Hendon's claims are mainly unsubstantiated and lack basic scientific research. A few of his points may have some value, but only under specific considerations and not as a generalized statement as provided in his article. It is quite obvious that Hendon's article has not been well researched and appeals to an audience that lacks nutritional knowledge or is desperate to find an answer for specific health struggles.